Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Tokyo Brandon and Adam Trigger. I'm done with my vacations for the rest of the year. So I guess the last real vacation I have coming up is the Wager Talk meet and greet, but we'll loosely call that work coming up here for the boys. Let's welcome in the experts here, because you don't just want to hear my thoughts on vacation and all over the place. You want to hear these guys' thoughts on Asian baseball. We got Tokyo Brandon and we got Adam Trigger, and both of these guys with some plays loaded up that you can get right now over at Wager Talk. It's the past day for my man Trig on Monday, but that just means he's coming back with the heat this coming Tuesday. So let's say hi to the experts and start with you, Trig, brother. How are you doing, my man? Great to see you on screen again. And again, what do you have up for your clients coming up?
So, yeah, it's a day off for me today. I just didn't like any of the Major League Baseball. A little bit of a shorter board on Monday, so decided to take a pass. Awesome week last week with all the 5% winners. 10-1 on my last 11 5% plays, and a handful of those came last week. So, that's been great, and we'll look for one here in the near future. The next play I have is going to go in the morning in the KBO, 4% best bet, and it's $9 Monday at Wager Talk. So that's going to be up for $9. But it was a good week, and we turned the page to August. We got football coming back here. Preseason starts in a few days. So, a lot to look forward to. Hopefully we keep cashing those tickets.
On a 10-1 run with the top-rated plays. Can't do much better than that. Well, I guess you could do one game better than that. But I think we'll take the 10-1 for Trig. Also, always rolling with some hot streaks is our guy, Tokyo Brandon. There he is. Brandon, what do you have up for your players, or for your clients, excuse me, and how are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Nice to see you back, Dan. Looking all tan and everything. Hopefully you got over whatever sickness was ailing you. So yeah, on Sunday, went 5-0, swept the board. Last 365, I am plus 411%. So I've quadrupled the bankroll in the last year. This year, winning 60% of my Japanese and 64% of my KBO. So going pretty well. And I do have a 5% play tonight in Japanese baseball. I also have an MLB play that's starting in about 1 hour and a couple other plays. I'm going to be giving out a couple of client plays here on this show today. So look forward to that. And let's keep rolling.
Well, if there's one thing I know, it's that you don't miss the Monday show on Asian Baseball Today. So even a little bug isn't going to keep me away from being back with my guys here. Both of them with some big tickets. 4% are loaded tomorrow for Adam Trigger, 5% for Tokyo Brandon. Watch the show in the other half of your browser. Go grab those plays for just $9 here on $9 Monday. If it's your first time joining us, we always start off with a little standings update so we can all be on the same page together. And even though I wasn't on the show for a week, my SSG Landers are still rolling at the top. Now 7 games up on Kiwoom. LG knocking right behind them, just 2 wins behind Kiwoom in that third spot. Then we kind of have the best of the rest. KT staying interesting. Kia and Doosan, still some games separating them. But look no further, guys. NC Dinos not just out of that last spot. We mentioned once they got out of 10th, you might not see them in it again. There you've even leaped over the Samsung Lions. So last place, bottom of the barrel, no more. Something that Adam Trigger kind of said halfway through the season. season or about, a quarter of the way through the season, NC could potentially make some noise moving down the stretch here. And now they're in 8th place. So pays to listen to the show here. Guys, let's get into it with just kind of our takeaways. Always like starting off with that at the top of the show. And for you, Adam, you just wanted to kind of look at the fact that teams always coming into Tuesday a little bit rested, but there's a couple teams who have a little bit of even more rest advantage. The floor is yours, Trig.
Yeah, well, I'll tie it into what you just started with. If there's one team that's going to catch one of these top 5 and make the playoffs, I think it's the NC Dinos. I think they are the only team in that bottom 5 that has a legitimate chance to just like run the, rattle off a bunch of wins and steal that 5th spot. I think it's unlikely. I said pretty much, I've been saying for 2 months now that top 5 is not going to change. But to me, the only team in that bottom 5 that's showing some promise right now, in my opinion, is the NC Dinos. And they're one of 6 teams, Dan, that didn't have to play on Sunday because they got rained out. And listen, on a Sunday, maybe it's not as big of a deal from an overall rest perspective because everyone gets the day off on Monday. But I'll tell you what it does really help with. When you get rained out on a Sunday, you typically don't have to use the pitcher twice, do the two start week deal, which is how most of these teams operate. So it's a Tuesday to Sunday schedule. And most teams, whoever pitches Tuesday, typically has a 2-start week and has to pitch on Sunday. Now, the import, like former major leaguer foreign pitchers, are fine at this. It's their normal rest. They're accustomed to doing it in America. But what we see sometimes is the Korean-born starting pitchers really struggle with that 2-start week having to go Tuesday, Sunday. And so NC is a team, I think, that gets helped out immensely by that because Min-Hyuk Shin is not exactly a guy that you want pitching twice in the same week, but he also hasn't been that bad. So now he gets to pitch on Tuesday instead of NC having Shin pitch Sunday and probably using a bunch of bullpen guys. He now starts Tuesday, and they're well rested. So NC is a team that the having a rain out definitely helped out. And a couple of the other teams, I'm going to go sort of benefit, disadvantage from what happened on Sunday. Doosan, a team that I think is helped immensely by not having to play on Sunday. Guak Bean, one of their starters, has been on the IL. We don't really know when he's coming back. Could be this week. Brandon Waddell, their new import player, he hasn't made his debut yet. So I'm assuming it's going to be sooner than later. But that certainly helps them because now Woonjun Choi gets to start Tuesday as opposed to having to have pitched on Sunday. And that really helps Doosan because he's one of the Korean-born guys that can handle having to pitch Tuesday, Sunday, which is what he will do this week. A team that I think maybe got hurt by having to play Sunday is Lotte Giants. Their bullpen is just decimated at this point, and they let Glenn Sparkman go. So Lotte, they're gonna try to go a different route and get another import arm in there. But in the short term, that means they cooked their bullpen over the weekend against Samsung, and now they're down a starter for this week. So Lotte really could have benefited from that day off. They didn't get it. The Kia Tigers didn't either. 2 of their top relievers are now hurt. But they might get Socrates. Well, they're going to get Socrates Brito back this week at some point, which is huge. We'll see if it's Tuesday or not. They could have probably benefited from the day off, and instead they had to play SSG on Sunday. So those are just some thoughts. You can easily tell by looking at the schedule who didn't play on Sunday. But I do think that, having that extra day of rest, the LG Twins getting an extra day of rest as well will help. And they're a team I'm going to talk about later in the show. It's just always good to know, who's coming in fresh, who's coming in not. And I think that, maybe helps set the table for your week.
And not only an extra day of rest, potentially, I like your angle on how it might shake up the pitching rotations and be advantageous for some, maybe hurt some others. So Adam Trigger with a look on what to look for heading into Tuesday morning. It's apropos because tying into what Tokyo Brandon wanted to get into was some run numbers specifically on Tuesday. So Tokyo, is anything that was being laid out there by Trig kind of tie in with the numbers that you're about to share with folks?
Yeah. 'Cause I knew you were trouble when you walked in. See, I got some Taylor Swift in. I
Taylor Swift?
I promised Joe last
All
week
right.
after I sang Adele that I would get Taylor Swift in. And now everyone can access Wager Talk on their smart TVs because we're on all the platforms now. So you can plug in and listen to me sing Adele and Taylor Swift and Slipknot and Dexter
Big
Poindexter.
draw. So. Big draw.
Anyway, yeah, big draw. I'm going to break in the crowd, baby. So I wanted, speaking of rest, I wanted to put up a graphic talking about which teams perform best after rest. So Tuesday is a good indicator as to how teams, this is only hitting, no pitching, and this is only the last 2 months. So the sample size is fairly small, but it is indicative of which teams perform better when they're rested. And Adam said Doosan's getting a boost. SSG's getting a boost, LG's getting a boost. And if you look at these numbers, after a rest, as we know in Asian baseball, both Japanese and KBO leagues, they rigidly take Mondays off, except on long weekends or holidays or something like that. But Monday's a day off basically every single week. And so after rest, you can see that Doosan here with a 7 runs per game, KT with 8.25 runs a game, LG with 5.8 runs a game. These teams perform really well after they're rested, the hitting. And then the teams that don't perform so well are the ones with threes there, like Lotte, Hanwha, NC. They generally don't pick it up. SSG is actually 3.2 after a rest as well. So this is just the last 2 months. But it is indicative on which teams tend to come out come out of the gate running, and which teams are a little lethargic out of the gate. So this does play into how I cap games on Tuesdays. Generally, scores are lower on Tuesdays because the bullpens are rested. So that's the pitching aspect, but this is the hitting aspect. So, I don't bet a lot of overs on Tuesday, but if I were going to bet an over, I would do it in a Doosan or a KT game. So that's just a little thing you can take with you until the show. Just screenshot it and take that with you if you want to make some reference and make some bets on your own without our advice.
Yeah, in between the solid handicapping and not so solid karaoke singing, Brandon did mention that new app. You can get it on the Google Play Store. You can also get it on the Apple App Store. Just search Wager Talk. Wager Talk continues to innovate to be your sports betting leader. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. You can find Tokyo Brandon even on your smart device singing songs. Maybe that's not what we should top bill it as, but it is there, folks. So, guys, let's get into our feature game here. Battle of the top two teams. We got SSG taking on Kiwoom, and Adam actually has his best bet coming from this one, so we'll get his thoughts second. Want to hear what you think as the SSG Landers, Brandon, are 180 favorites on the money line. Your take back on Kiwoom is a decent plus 150. The total in this game is sitting at around 8. How are you handicapping this one, Brandon? Good matchup for sure on paper, but anything worth mentioning from a handicapper perspective?
Yeah, I picked this matchup this week because these are two teams that are, most likely going to make the playoffs, and they're two of the top teams out there. SSG started off with a bang, slowed up a little bit. Kiwoom's been really stable. I've been waiting for them to trip up because their hitting is not really that good. The one thing Kiwoom excels at is the bullpen and their starting rotation. They're kind of like KT was last year, very subpar hitting, but the pitching makes up for it. And basically the pitching is what won it all for KT last year because their hitting wasn't really top class. So this matchup today, we've got Morimando. The LG added the new import pitcher Morimando, and he went one game. He had one start against LG, and he just completely dominated in 6 innings. He had a whip of 0.50, which means he put less than one guy on base So what's that? 6 innings. So 0.5 would be 3 guys. He put 3 guys on base in 6 innings. He struck out 6 and walked 1. So he performed really well in his Korean debut, which most guys need to get acclimated before they come out and dominate like that. So I expect good things from him to come. Jiang Chen-hun is Kiwoom's probably, I would say, their worst starter in their rotation. But he's not that bad, actually. And in his last 3 starts, he's given up 2, 3, and 0 with a strikeout to balls rate of 14-8, which is not terrible, not bad. But if you walk 8 guys in 3 games, it's not really that good. The average runs per game between these two is 7.9, which is much lower than the average of 9.1. And the last 7 average is 7.5 between these two. So I don't know. The price is pretty steep, but I do see SSG having an advantage here, especially in the starting pitching and the hitting aspect. But I think this one could go under. And actually, I put this out as a client play. Just a 2%er, but it is a client play. I got the under here. Under in the first 5 innings, I believe the under was 4.5. So I'm on the under in the first 5 innings here because I think Morimando can hold down, and I think Jiang, he like I said, he's Kiwoom's worst starter, but I think he can hold SSG for at least 5 innings. So I'm on the under first 5 here. It's a small client play, but that's how I'm approaching this one.
Thinking the bats could be quiet early. Under first 5 in SSG Kiwoom. Game goes on Tuesday morning. Trig, your best bet comes from this one, so let's see your best tight rope walking impression here. Can you give us your thoughts on the game without quite giving away what your best bet is going to be? Floor is yours, and then we'll get into your series preview, Trig.
Yeah, so my best bet's going to be on the side. So I'll just kind of follow up and talk about the total. My concern with the under would be Kiwoom getting lit up. So, I mean, I don't know if I just walk the tightrope or not. Probably not. But Jiang really gets hit hard. And I think he's been fortunate to not have given up as many runs and whatnot because, listen, Kiwoom, this team makes plays. They get out of jams. They seem to know exactly when to go to the bullpen. So it's like, he's got a very high hard hit rate, but he's got guys behind him making plays. They seem to get him out at the right time. Just to support on the other hand, what Brandon kind of discussed, Kiwoom does not hit left-handed pitching at all. So this might be and they've never seen Morimando. So, this might be a good spot. If you want to take the under, maybe isolate Kiwoom and go Kiwoom team total under or something like that. Because I guess just to rebuttal what he spoke about, my only concern with this one staying under would be Jiang getting hit. I don't think Kiwoom's going to hit that much. So, that's just my follow-up there. Maybe Kiwoom team total under because, Morimando was excellent in his first start. And I heard rumblings of, that Morimando was really ready to go. When he made his SSG debut, you see a lot of these guys come in, make their first start, and it's like we're going to put them on a pitch count. We're going to ease them in. It's 3 innings. It's 60 pitches. And my intel was good on that. I heard that Morimando was they were just going to trot him out there, and it was going to be like game on, and he ended up going 6 innings, threw 86 pitches, and he was outstanding. So he seems fine. I wouldn't be surprised. Kiwoom's never seen him. I wouldn't be surprised if Kiwoom does nothing against him. So maybe, for a total, maybe the team total under on Kiwoom Kiwoom team total under might be a good bet here to correlate with Brandon's first 5 under.
So I just checked the numbers. The first 5 for Kiwoom going under is -120. That number is 1.5. So pretty small there. If you want to go for the whole game, 3.5 is the Kiwoom team total. That's juiced -150 to the under. So some thoughts there on the featured game, Kiwoom SSG. Hop in the comments and give us your thoughts. You just heard our experts there. Let's get into our series breakdowns, guys. Adam, I'm going to start with you and really don't sleep on LG. Yeah, they're 8 games back of first place, but they're just 2 behind Kiwoom, who's in the second place slot. They've been struggling a little bit. So what do you think? As they face off against the Lotte Giants, who you were just talking about in your top segment, do they maybe pick up some ground on that 2 spot, or how are you handicapping this series matchup between Lotte and LG?
Yeah, Dan, without a doubt, LG is the second best team in the league now. It's not close. Kiwoom, Kia, KT are not close to LG right now. It's SSG is still the best, and LG is number 2. And I'm going to tell you why, and then I'm going to tell you how that might be. Maybe you could find some value on the Twins in this series, or at least some playable spots. For starters, Rabel Garcia comes in. He's hitting 300. This was an LG team that didn't have an import bat really all season. Rio Ruiz did absolutely nothing. He hit like 160 in a handful of games, and they got rid of him. LG over the weekend gets Chang Ki Hong back. He's their leadoff hitter, so that's a huge addition. And this is an LG team. I actually think Brandon kind of was on this early, where he was just basically like, this team does everything good. Like, they're not bad in any area. They're good defensively. They have an outstanding bullpen. My only real criticism with LG was that maybe their starters don't go overly deep, but like Adam Plutko has emerged as a legit ace, and Casey Kelly is a legit ace. So you know what? You have 2 legit aces. If the other 3 can do a little bit, I think their bullpen, which is again excellent, is going to be fine. In this series, this could be a nightmare series for Lotte, and I'll explain why. Starting, they had to play Sunday. We already talked about it at the top of the show, which means it went 12 innings. So they had to play Sunday, and it ended up finishing in a tie. So a bunch of bullpen guys, not the best case scenario for them. And they're going to throw In-Bok Lee here, who hasn't been great of late. They desperately need length out of Lee in this first game. If they don't get it, they're going to have to use up their bullpen, and they can't really afford to use up their bullpen, because now that Glenn Sparkman is gone, they're going to need a bullpen game at some point, and it's probably going to be Thursday in this series. So here's how this series is probably going to play out. LG, they're minus 200 tomorrow, so not a ton of value there, but you got Adam Plutko against In-Bok Lee. LG is probably winning that game. I'd be surprised if LG doesn't win it. Unfortunately, minus 200 is a little steep for me to want to back LG on the road, but I do think Plutko's been really good, and LG's been very good. Lotte finds ways to lose games, so I would say LG is my lean there. Wednesday is the one game that maybe Lotte has a little bit of a potential advantage with Charlie Barnes on the mound, but Charlie Barnes has really looked pedestrian lately. I watched his entire start against Doosan last week. I wasn't impressed. He just seems to lack the killer instinct. He's putting guys on, he's walking guys. So you might get a good price on LG with Chang-Kyu Im on the mound. And you know what? LG's bullpen's probably going to be good there because they had 2 days of rest. Thursday could be the layup game in this series for LG, because what Lotte's going to have to do here, they're either going to have to throw Siwoong Park, who is a very good starter, or what I think they're going to do is make Thursday the bullpen game and have Siwoong Park go against NC Dinos on Friday in a game that Lotte could actually win. And if that happens, you're probably going to see the books hang a number for LG because they're on the road. It's probably going to be like minus 250 or something. And I think you just bet that right away, because it's going to be like minus 250, and it probably should be like minus 400 with Casey Kelly on the mound for LG. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the series. I think Lotte put themselves in a really tough spot cutting Glenn Sparkman. It might be the right long-term decision for Lotte getting rid of Sparkman, but short-term, they really put their pitching in a tough spot this week, and I think it's going to take its toll in this series. So LG they could very well sweep this series. And if they don't, I think if they lose that game on Wednesday, I think you just wait till your book puts that lineup and just bet LG on Thursday. I have a feeling it'll be the bullpen game for Lotte, and you probably get an easy win with Casey Kelly on the mound.
Not sleeping on LG even a little bit, our guy, Adam Trigger. You can check him out over at wagertalk.com, wt.buzz/AT. Brandon, let's get into your thoughts for your series preview. Swing it on over to some Japanese baseball. You wanted to break down another good matchup as this has these two teams tied in the Central League, the Yokohama BayStars and the Hiroshima Carp. How are you betting this one, and do you think it's going to live up to the billing with some tied standings, a lot of parity between the two?
Yeah, to add to what Adam said about the Lotte LG game, he said Lee and Bach needs to go long for Lotte to have a chance. His last 3 games, he's gone 4.5, 5, and 6 with 2 strikeouts and 6 walks. That's not the sign of a pitcher who can go long. I think LG is going to absolutely destroy Lotte in this series. Those are just my 2 cents to add on to what Adam said. So round and round, I love Rat. So let's switch over to Japanese baseball. Talk about the Hiroshima Carp and the DNA BayStars. I call them the DNA BayStars. They're the Yokohama DNA BayStars. So these are 2 of the highest scoring teams. So these 2 teams are basically the Baltimore Orioles playing against each other. Neither one has good pitching. Neither one has a good bullpen. And they both hit pretty well. Surprisingly, the Orioles hit really well. So the way I'm going to approach this series is these 2 teams have played 15 times and 12 of them have gone over. So I'm going to look for overs in this series, but I'm going to lay off tonight's game because DNA has a pitcher named Imanaga. He's a total stud, and I don't think he's going to I don't think he's going to get blown up here. And I checked the total. I think it was 7.5. It's a little high. So these two teams, though, when they get together, they average 9 runs a game. But I'm not too confident in game 1 of the series. But game 2 and game 3 of the Hiroshima Carp DNA BayStars series, definitely look for overs. If you see any 6s, I would take the over. If you see any team totals of 3.5, I would take the over in that, especially DNA. Because DNA gets Austin back. I forgot his first name. He was a prospect for the Yankees about 4 or 5 years ago. Austin. Adam, do you remember his name? I can't remember his first name, but anyway, he's an absolute stud. And they get him back here. I'm going to Google it while I'm talking, but they get him back. And he's going to be a huge. Tyler Austin is his name. He's going to be a huge boon to that because they already have Maki, they have Miyazaki, and they have Soto. I mean, this is a power-packed lineup. And the Carp currently have the worst bullpen out of 12 teams. They rank 12th. Out of 12 teams, DNA's bullpen ranks 10th. So I expect a lot of runs in this series, especially in Game 2 and Game 3. So as I said, if you see any 6s or 6.5s, I would definitely go over. And if you see any team totals of 3.5, I would definitely go over, especially with DNA. That's how I'm approaching this series.
The BayStars and the Carp, that's how Brandon is betting the series. You just saw a live on-air Googling there by our guy, Tokyo Brandon. You can head on over to the Google Play Store and type in Wager Talk while you're at it. Grab that app, and you can also do the same on the Apple App Store. So, guys, you gave actionable info all show long, but none so explicitly as we do in the Best Bet segment. So let's get right on into it. And, Brandon, we'll swing it right back to you since you're staying in Japanese baseball. Remind the folks what you have loaded for tonight, how they can become a client of yours, and give a little free play for the folks joining us here on Asian Baseball Today.
Yeah, and if you think I need glasses, you're probably right, because every time I'm looking at my screen, I have to go like this. So, well, since I'm 52, yeah, maybe glasses are in the picture for me in the near future. But anyways, I am going to the Japanese League, and the Oryx Buffaloes are playing the Seibu Lions tonight. And the Oryx Buffaloes are featuring, hands down, the best starting pitcher in Japan. His name's Yamamoto. He's actually better than Sasaki, who's the guy who had the perfect game, the perfect game and the no-hitter in the same season. Yes, Sasaki is amazing, but Yamamoto is worlds better because he's consistent. He's been doing it for 3 years. The guy has a 0.98 whip. And he's got a 0.98 whip average the last 3 years. He averages 7.8 innings per outing, which means he's not like going 5 innings and then getting jerked. He's staying in the game almost through 8 innings every time he goes out. He walks 1.7 guys a game per 9. That's ridiculous. I mean, Yamamoto is amazing. And he had one bad outing about 2 games ago where he gave up 4 runs, which is very uncharacteristic of him. I mean, if you look at his game scores, it's 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. I mean, the guy's amazing. The Seibu Lions are pitching a guy named Takahashi. Takahashi is good. He's definitely upper echelon. He's not elite like Yamamoto or Sasaki, but he's definitely good. He's got a 1.24 whip, and he plays really well against Oryx. So I saw this I saw this game total at 6.5. I was like, that's ridiculous. I mean, 6.5 on a Tuesday in Japan. You know, I've said many times, and I sound like a broken record, but average game scores in Japan are around 5 runs a game. And you get 2 elite pitchers going against each other, and the total 6.5. That's ridiculous. So I'm on the under in this, and it's a client play. Some books had it at 6. Pinnacle had it at 6.5. Either way, it's a good bet because I crunched my numbers, and I have this at 5.7. So 6 under, 6.5 under. I think 6.5 under would be like a 4% play. If you only get a 6, make it a 2% play. But definitely the under in this game tonight. That's my best bet.
So looking towards the under and also dropping 52 years old. Brandon, you look great for your age, man. You don't look a day above 50.
Thank you.
I will say. Although I do like the red Foreman, that 70s show plaid shirt you're rocking. That maybe is what adds towards the look there. But looking towards Oryx, Buffalo, and the Seibu.
It's my tribute to Kramer on Seinfeld.
I like it. You can pull it off. It takes a strong man to pull that off. Under 6.5 in the Seibu and Oryx game in Japanese baseball. That's the best bet for our man Tokyo. Brandon Trigg, you hinted towards it earlier, but it's time to make it official. Again, remind people what you have up for tomorrow morning. It is a pass night. Put in the system. So if you have all access from Trigg, you're not losing a day. It's rolling right on over to tomorrow. So what do you have loaded for your clients tomorrow and moving forward this week? And what's your best bet on the show today?
Yeah, I'll be back with MLB tomorrow. Just couldn't get there with anything on the MLB card tonight, but I'll definitely have Major League Baseball on Tuesday. And I'll be starting Tuesday off with a KBO bet, 4% best bet, which is up on my page now for just $9. If you couldn't tell from earlier in the show, my best bet's SSG on the money line. I love this spot for SSG. I think they're far and away the best team in this league. Sean Morimondo, I heard he was ready to go just from some team news, coming out of their, system, when he was, going through his, just his sort of starts to get ready, coming into last week. And he absolutely was. 86 pitches, 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out 6, walked 1. He was outstanding. No pitch count. That was exactly what happened. And I think he's going to be ready to go again here. Kiwoom, awful against left-handed pitching. Dead last in OPS in the KBO against left-handed pitching. And now they get a good lefty, former major league lefty that they haven't seen before. And that's going to be really difficult on Kiwoom's offense, in my opinion, here. Jung on Kiwoom, Brandon said it earlier in the show, worst starter in that rotation. I agree with him. And I also think that he's very fortunate to have the numbers he has because he does get hit hard, and he's kind of wiggled his way out of a couple of jams this year where, there could be a lot more earned runs on his ledger if his defense wasn't so good and Kiwoom wasn't so timely at sort of, making plays and getting out of spots. But I just don't see it here against SSG. Kiwoom's bullpen since coming back from the All-Star break has been horrible. And this was a team, Dan, that I said we're going to see some regression out of Kiwoom. If there was one team that I thought had a chance to just fall off a cliff in the second half of the really good teams, it was Kiwoom. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And I think that they're in a tough spot against SSG here. So it's a little pricey, but I like the SSG money line here. I think the Landers get it done in this game.
Dan, you're muted.
Minus 180. I'm happy to see it with my SSG Landers rolling on over Kiwoom. That's the fingers crossed for me. And I'm also one day closer now to getting that SSG hat from my guy, Tokyo Brandon. He's going to be bringing it out to the Wager Talk meet and greet at the Westgate. We're looking forward to it. All three of us are going to be there. All kinds of Wager Talk personalities. There's a golf outing. There's basketball going on. You can still get your tickets now to meet us out there the weekend of August 19th. We're excited for it. So, guys, that's going to do it for us. Again, the SSG Landers on the money line. Oryx Buffaloes and Cebu Lions going under the 6.5 are the best bets for the guys today. If you like the show, we just ask that you like, subscribe, hop in the comments below, give us your thoughts, and the best way to say thank you to these guys, giving you free information every Monday and Thursday. Head on over to their pages at wagertalk.com. Got big ticket plays loaded right now, a 5%er for Tokyo Brandon, a 4%er for Adam Trigger, and you can get them for just $9 here on $9 Monday. So for Tokyo Brandon, for Adam Trigger, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll see you Thursday on Asian Baseball Today.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.